The dust has settled on President Donald Trump's first address to Congress since he took office again for his second term. Now, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle continue to react to it. On Tuesday, President Donald Trump held his first address to Congress since returning.
The president used his speech to tout his achievements 43 days into his second term, attack his opponents and his predecessor, all while his speech broke the record for the longest annual presidential address to Congress in modern history at just under 1 hour and 40 minutes.
We're joined now by Davidson College professor Dr. Susan Roberts. Good morning, Dr. Roberts. Now that we're a little bit removed from this, what are your big takeaways from that speech or that address to Congress?
I'm not sure it was sound and fury signifying nothing with Shakespeare in mind, but I think it was something that set and reiterated the tone that had been really permeating everything that President Trump wanted to do, and Elon Musk, especially since Musk was highlighted, shout out, waving to the crowd. So I think that it reaffirmed what we already suspected in capital letters.
Dr. Roberts, one of the things that the president touched on during his address to Congress is the fact that Zelensky felt remorseful a little bit about or regretted how things played out in the Oval Office there. The president's approach to foreign diplomacy has been a big departure from what we're used to seeing from the White House. What is your take on how he's treated Russia, Ukraine, what's going on in Israel?
Well, I think it depends on how you define diplomacy. And I think his was less cooperate and more confrontational. And I think just like anything else, it's a boomerang. Which are we? Where are we with Hamas and with Ukraine? And to be so unequivocal at one moment with President Zelensky and cooperative at another. So I think it's confusing at best. I think the next few days remain to be seen, but I think it was a positive sign. There wasn't a lot of discussion of it, but he did include that in this address.
We know that President Trump is all about the art of the deal, one of his former books. We were talking here this morning that the process at which he goes about trying to get the deal, whatever the deal happens to be, right? There's a lot that he's working on right now, whether it's, peace in the Middle East or whether it's with Ukraine, whatever it may be. And on the surface, it may be very unorthodox. It may look ugly. A lot of things or people or organizations may get pruned through that process. But if it gets to the end, if he's able to get what he wants and it is better for the country, how do you look at where we are with that future thinking and go, it's a very unorthodox process, but if the deal gets done, we have to sit back and trust our president?
Well, I think that the one theme that was indisputable is the culture war, and that's not going to go away. I think the attack on DEI, that's not going to go away. That the kind of culture that no policy can really redirect. And I think it's clear there are two Americas in a way. And Trump did not say the liberals, the Democrats. He said them. And I don't think that's something that will make the country feel a little more at peace with his direction. I think these actions, whether you want to call them accomplishments or actions, are there for a long time in terms of redirecting America towards the golden age of America, or what we've thought is the American dream, which has been immigrants coming to this country to seek a better life. So I think those need to be redefined. I did not do one thing, as I did not go through and fact check the president. I found vastly vary numbers and interpretations is an exaggeration, a lie. So I didn't look at that to consider my remarks.
And a lot of news organizations did go through that, saying, this needs a little bit more context. This is true and this is false. And we do know that this was a very partisan speech, calling out Democrats a lot during that process. But we should note that, Republicans did the same during addresses from Joe Biden. This isn't even the State of the Union address. This is just an address to the joint session of Congress. So what can we even look forward to down the road for the State of the Union address, which is farther down the road? But what are we expecting from that potentially?
Well, I think that one thing that President Trump has continued to do is to blame the Biden administration and to be defiant. I was trying to think what I characterize this as offensive or defensive. And I think it's both. I think it's defiant. And I think down the road, there will be a list of things that he will say, President Trump will say, have been accomplished. And some of those may be by executive order, some of those may be working with Congress. I'm hoping that we'll see, because I'm an institutionalist, that we'll see more cooperation with Congress, albeit even just Republicans, just to recognize that the people's representatives have a role in policymaking. I don't know that that will happen. I think that Musk is still going to play a role. I think J.D. Vance is going to continue, or going to start being more assertive as to his role. Down the road, I don't know what we'll think about, but I think that whatever the inventory of items is, I think we could agree that President Trump will take credit for how they fit his mission and his agenda. But the culture war is not going to be over in 1 year.
Dr. Roberts, a lot remains to be seen in terms of how everything plays out. A culture war definitely underway. We appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you always for your insight.
Thank you.